Ladies and gentlemen, in life, we often look outward for challenges. We prepare ourselves for the storms that come from the world, but the greatest storms, the ones that break us silently, often come from those standing closest to us. There is a form of suffering that is not loud. It doesn't shout, it doesn't hit. It hides behind a smile, behind words of support, behind familiar faces, and yet, it drains your spirit, your confidence, your peace. Today, I want to speak to you about awareness, about the 9 signs that someone close to you may secretly resent or even hate you. Not to judge, not to blame, but to awaken, because when you become aware, you regain your power, you protect your peace, and you choose your circle with wisdom, not just emotion. The path of a strong mind and a free heart begins with truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. When someone close to you harbors hidden resentment or dislike, one of the clearest signs is their use of sarcasm and jokes to deliver subtle disrespect. These comments are often made in a way that allows them to retreat by saying, "I was only joking," but the underlying intent is not humorous, it's critical. This kind of behavior is particularly dangerous because it often goes unnoticed at first. It wears down your confidence gradually. You start to wonder if you're being too sensitive, if you're overthinking, or if perhaps the problem is you. But in truth, these jokes carry hidden messages of contempt, envy, and unresolved emotions. People who secretly resent you often won't confront you directly. Instead, they choose passive methods to express their true feelings. Sarcastic remarks become their weapon of choice. They might comment on your appearance, your ideas, or your goals in ways that seem light-hearted on the surface, but are meant to cut you down underneath. These remarks are delivered with a smile, sometimes in front of others, making it harder for you to respond without appearing defensive or insecure. They might say things like, "Oh wow, you're really wearing that," or "must be nice to have time to chase dreams instead of working a real job." The words may be said in jest, but the intent behind them is sharp. Over time, these small cuts begin to damage your self-esteem. You may notice yourself hesitating to share your achievements or personal plans around this person. You might hold back parts of yourself out of fear that they'll mock or belittle you again. The connection begins to feel unsafe, even though this person is close to you, perhaps a friend, sibling, or even a partner. What's important to understand is that someone who loves and respects you will not consistently make you feel small, even in the name of humor. This kind of subtle disrespect also reveals an inner conflict in the person delivering it. They may be struggling with feelings of insecurity, jealousy, or inadequacy. Your growth or confidence might serve as a mirror that reflects back to them what they feel they lack. Rather than process these emotions in a healthy way, they try to bring you down, using humor as a disguise. In this way, the disrespect becomes a projection of their own inner pain, but that doesn't make it any less harmful to you. Another characteristic of this behavior is how it thrives in ambiguity. Because the line between a joke and an insult can be blurry, it becomes difficult for you to set boundaries. If you call them out, they may say you're too sensitive, or that you don't know how to take a joke. This gaslighting makes you doubt your own perception. You begin to silence your own discomfort, trying to keep the peace or maintain the relationship. In doing so, you slowly abandon your emotional safety. Subtle disrespect may also escalate. What begins as sarcasm might grow into more obvious put-downs, exclusion, or manipulation. The person may consistently highlight your flaws, downplay your efforts, or shift the focus away from you whenever you're being appreciated. They may even compete with you in conversations, trying to outshine or one-up you, all while pretending to be your supporter. Ultimately, consistent sarcasm or jokes that belittle you are not signs of closeness or trust. They're red flags. When someone habitually masks their dislike or resentment behind humor, they are not expressing affection or familiarity. They are revealing a deeper, more hidden emotion, one that needs to be acknowledged, not ignored. A second powerful sign that someone close to you secretly harbors negative feelings is their lack of genuine support when you succeed or grow. This can be one of the most painful realizations because we naturally expect the people closest to us to be our biggest cheerleaders. When you reach a milestone, achieve a goal, or even take steps towards self-improvement, those who truly care about you feel joy for you. But when someone secretly resents you, your progress becomes a source of discomfort for them rather than pride. This lack of support doesn't always come in dramatic forms. It can be subtle, so subtle that it leaves you confused. Maybe you share some exciting news, and instead of enthusiasm, you're met with a forced smile, an awkward silence, or a quick change of subject. They might offer lukewarm congratulations or make a comment that shifts the attention back to themselves. The energy feels off. You feel it in your gut, but you second guess yourself because the words themselves don't always sound harmful. Still, their actions or lack of response speak volumes. Sometimes they may downplay your achievements altogether. They'll attribute your success to luck, timing, or external help, never acknowledging the effort and sacrifice you put in. For example, they might say, "Must be nice to have connections," or "You're lucky that worked out for you." These comments seem casual, but they carry an undertone of resentment. Rather than celebrating you, they try to minimize what you've accomplished to make themselves feel more secure. Another way this behavior manifests is through backhanded compliments. On the surface, they appear to praise you, but there's an undercurrent of jealousy or bitterness. They might say things like, "I didn't think you had it in you," or "Wow, you're doing better than I expected." These remarks are designed to undermine your confidence while maintaining a facade of politeness. It's a passive way of expressing that your success bothers them more than it pleases them. Sometimes, their lack of support is shown through absence. When you need them most, at your events, celebrations, or critical moments, they're nowhere to be found. They make excuses, cancel last minute, or simply show no interest in being there. And even if they do show up, they're disengaged or distracted, offering no real emotional presence. Their body is there, but their spirit isn't. This absence isn't always about time or schedule, it's about priority. When someone truly cares, they show up even when it's inconvenient. When someone secretly envies or resents you, they disappear or stay distant when your light is shining the brightest. You may also notice that your growth seems to make them uncomfortable. They might try to steer conversations toward your past or remind you of times when you were struggling. This is their way of grounding you, not out of care, but out of discomfort. They want to bring you back to a place where they felt more equal or superior. Your evolution threatens their sense of identity or place in your life, and instead of adjusting or growing with you, they resist it by minimizing your progress. People who can't genuinely support your growth often reveal more about their own internal battles than about you. Your success acts as a mirror, reflecting back their lack of movement, effort, or clarity in life. Rather than use this reflection to motivate themselves, they allow envy to grow. As a result, they withdraw support, make subtle jabs, or simply go silent when you need encouragement. This lack of celebration can feel like emotional betrayal, especially when it comes from someone you love or trust. Passive-aggressive behavior and emotional withdrawal are clear indicators that someone close to you may secretly harbor negative feelings toward you. Unlike open conflict, which is direct and easier to identify, passive-aggressive behavior operates in the shadows. It is marked by subtle actions that express anger, resentment, or bitterness without any direct confrontation. This kind of behavior can be deeply confusing because it creates emotional tension without any obvious cause, leaving you unsure of what went wrong or why the atmosphere feels cold. One common form of passive-aggressive behavior is procrastination or intentional forgetfulness when it comes to your needs. You might ask for a small favor, expect them to be there during a difficult time, or rely on them for a shared responsibility. Instead of saying no or expressing resistance openly, they agree, but then delay, forget, or avoid following through. On the surface, it seems like a mistake or oversight, but the pattern repeats. This indirect defiance is a silent protest against your expectations or presence in their life, and it often leaves you feeling let down, disappointed, or like you're being ignored. Another sign is when they give you the silent treatment. This is not the healthy kind of space people sometimes need to cool down or reflect. It's a deliberate emotional withdrawal meant to punish or control. You find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to figure out what triggered the shift in mood. They won't tell you what's wrong, but their energy is distant, their tone cold, their presence heavy. They might avoid eye contact, respond with one-word answers, or isolate themselves completely. This silence creates a power imbalance, where you're forced to reach out, apologize, or seek resolution for something you don't fully understand. Sarcasm is often another weapon used in passive-aggressive communication. They may make sly, hurtful remarks disguised as jokes or witty observations, leaving you unsure whether to laugh or feel insulted. These comments often hit a nerve, something they know you're sensitive about, but when confronted, they shrug it off as humor. This allows them to deny any ill intent while still delivering emotional blows. Over time, these little jabs wear away at your self-worth, and you begin to doubt your instincts. Emotional withdrawal can also appear as a lack of enthusiasm or warmth in interactions. Conversations feel forced or surface level, eye contact is minimal, and physical gestures of affection or care are reduced. They stop asking about your day, stop showing interest in your life, and avoid sharing their own thoughts or feelings. It's as if the emotional bond that once connected you has been severed, even though nothing obvious was said or done. You sense the emotional distance growing, yet when you ask about it, they may deny anything is wrong or accuse you of overthinking. Passive-aggressive individuals often use guilt as a tool to manipulate. They may highlight how much they've done for you in the past while subtly implying that you're ungrateful or demanding. They bring up past sacrifices in moments where you're simply asking for basic support. Instead of expressing their feelings directly, they aim to make you feel guilty so that you back off or lower your expectations. This guilt-based interaction allows them to avoid honest communication while still controlling the emotional climate of the relationship. This behavior creates an atmosphere of confusion, anxiety, and emotional instability. You constantly question yourself, wondering if you did something wrong or if you're just imagining things. The emotional push and pull leaves you drained. The person may appear friendly and supportive in public or around others, but in private, they create distance, discomfort, and unease. The contrast between their public and private behavior can be so stark that you begin to question your own reality. This inconsistency is a key indicator that the issue lies beneath the surface.